My name is Nick Ottenbacher with Brookstone Realtors, and I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video on how I will personally market your home. And this is something I am super passionate about, something I spend time and work on every single day, and something that you're going to sit back and say, whoa, I didn't know anybody did that much for marketing. And if there's anything another agent said that they would do that I forgot to mention, please let me know. So when I meet with new clients, one thing that's always important I cover is my track record of success selling other homes and what you can expect from me. And I'll briefly cover my resume. So last year, I personally sold 55 homes versus the average agent selling less than 5 every year. What most concerns me about working with a part-time agent is in the world we live in with seeing so many lawsuits, you need an agent that is not only going to protect your equity, selling your home for the most amount of money, you need an agent who's also got the right experience and going to make sure all of the disclosures and paperwork is filled out correctly to avoid being sued after the home sells. So my list to sold percentage was over asking and 5% more than the market average. And that's important because if you're like most people, the final dollar amount you'll be getting in your pocket is important. And at a $350,000 sales price, I would be putting an additional $18,000 in your pocket. And I'm selling 9 out of the 10 listings I take in a market where more than a third of homes are failing to sell. And some agents may tell you what you want to hear to get your listing, but when I list your home, my goal is to get it sold. And I'm selling homes on average in 10 days. And the more days on market is the killer of all equity. And I'm here to help protect your equity and make sure we get your home sold before buyers start questioning what's wrong. And then you can find nearly 100 plus 5-star reviews online from satisfied clients. And this is now where nearly 50% of my business comes from today. And during this transaction, my one goal is to do such a great job that I earn future referrals from your friends and family. And I don't say all of this to impress you, but impress upon you that when you list with me, we know this marketing plan works and delivers results. We're just testing the price. So what we've learned over time is that there are 4 things that will determine whether a property will or will not sell in this market. Number 1, and that's how it's priced and who ultimately determines what the house sells for. It's the market. And even with powerful marketing and strong negotiating, the market ultimately determines what price the property sells for. Properties sell for what buyers are willing to pay, and no amount of marketing can sell an overpriced property. But we do have a ton of arrows in our quiver to position your property better than the competition. Number 2, how it shows. And have you ever seen pictures of people's photos on dating websites? It's like how people look at home ads online. And 95% of buyers now look for homes online, and they decide if they want to see your home based on how it shows. And buyers have access to hundreds of homes for sale with 25 homes on each page, and they make a split-second decision whether they keep looking at yours based on the photos and where it's priced. And do you know how long the average person's attention span is today? It's about 3 seconds, thanks to the internet and all the distractions we have today. So you can imagine how important it is that we make sure we have a great first impression online, or it'll be our last impression. And more views equals more showings equals more offers. And my job is to show your home in its best light online, extremely professional, so we get people in the door. Because when they see your home, they're going to love it and they're probably going to buy it. So number 3 is the one thing I control and something I'm super passionate about and work on every single day. And that's how we're going to market your home. And this is something that you're going to sit back and say, whoa, I didn't know anybody did that much for marketing, and it's very thorough. And I could really go on and on for hours. And going through this presentation, if there was anything another agent said they would do that I forgot to mention, please, please, please bring it up to me. And number 4 is communication. And can you guess the number 1 complaint among sellers who list their home with an agent? The number 1 complaint after a seller signs with an agent, the communication stops. And when that happens, it hurts both of us because I can't tell you what's going on. You don't know what's going on. And we can't make the necessary adjustments to help get your property sold for the most money. So we're going to communicate a lot. And we have a pricing strategy that is the most powerful and accurate way to price a property. We use the same data that banks use, other agents use, appraisers use, and that buyers can get access to figure out the right starting price for your property. And once we get the correct starting price, we'll figure out if we did it correctly. We'll know because in the first 2 weeks, we should have an offer on your property. And if we don't have any offers on your property and we have a lot of showings, our research says we're about 3 to 6% off on where the market thinks we should be. And I want to pull back the curtain for you. Why might an agent say they could sell your property for a higher price than everyone else? A lot of agents tell you a price you want to hear to buy your listing. And that's why we're seeing over a third of homes fail to sell in this seller's market. And pricing is the number 1 marketing strategy. And when we meet, we're going to go through some data and determine the right price for your property to maximize exposure and maximize leverage in your negotiation. And there's a lot of things that can make your property show better, but one of the things we have to do is make sure your property is showcased online extremely professional. And have you seen a difference in the homes for sale that use, professional photos versus using their cell phone to take pictures? So we bring in our professional photographer, who's the absolute best out there, who does drone photography, a twilight photo on that first photo, who is very patient and takes a lot of time editing to make sure your property is shown in its best light and takes away any blemishes. And we're going to ensure when someone sees your property, they're going to get in the front door, because when they see your home, they're going to love it and they're probably going to buy it. So again, I'm going to pull back the curtain for you on how a property actually sells. And the National Association of Realtors does a study every year called the Profile of Buyers and Sellers. And if any other agents mention this study to you, inside there's one section I care about, and that's how did buyers find the actual property they purchased last year. So we use that data to determine where we market your property so we can sell it faster and for more money. And if we didn't have this data, it would be like us taking a boat out onto the water and just randomly casting into the water, not having any idea where the fish actually are. So with this data, we adapt our marketing strategy to match where the most buyers are finding properties just like yours, so we can sell it faster and for more money. And for example, some traditional agents still put ads in those magazines at the airport that no one reads because they don't know that less than 1% of buyers found the house they bought through a magazine, or even a broker's open house where they invite all of the new agents from their office that don't have buyers for your house to eat cookies and win gift cards, when the agents that actually have all of the buyers are out showing homes. So let's jump into marketing. And what we know is that nearly 30% of all buyers found the home they purchased because an agent like me said that you should go see this specific property. So what you have to do is hire a real estate agent like myself that has a marketing plan in place to market your property to other agents. So we'll market your property to all 25,000 agents in the area. And we found that 20% of the agents sell 80% of the homes in the area. And we'll communicate with these agents to see if they have a buyer for your property. And when you add all of that together, all agents in this community are going to know about your property. And have you heard of that thing called the internet? The next thing that is important is online advertising, and almost 50% of all transactions are because the buyer first found the property on the internet. which means you need to hire a real estate agent like myself that has a marketing plan that dominates the internet. And we've identified 5 places that every property needs to be marketed in order to get sold in this market. So our technology allows us to showcase your property on all major brokerage websites like Redfin, Keller Williams, Sotheby's, Century 21, Remax, and more. So when you list with me, all of the buyers currently working with other agents and other companies are going to have access to see your home. And have you looked on homes on like Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com? Yeah, and we get your property featured more often on the most popular sites, and those 3 get about 80% of the traffic. And it's not just enough to get your property on there. You need to get yours to show up at the top, and we figured it out. Some are done by how often you update it. So we have a team that updates constantly, changing the photos around or adding things to the marketing description. Some are updated because you pay them. So we hand over our credit card and make sure you're showcased. And there's a lot of little tips and tricks. And what we found is that there's 27 pages of homes for sale with 25 properties per page. The odds a buyer goes to the bottom of page 27 is pretty slim. So we do the best we can to get your property on the very top. And next is search engines. And have you used any search engines today? So what we do is allow our property to be showcased when people type in phrases in the search engines that might indicate they want to buy a property just like yours. So if you put a buyer hat on right now and go to Google and type in a phrase, what do you think somebody would type in to find a home just like yours? And what if someone typed in ranch home in your area and it went to a page where your property was and you were one of the top ones? And we're going to think of hundreds of other phrases if someone was looking for a home just like yours. And do you think there's a chance there could be an international buyer for your home? Maybe someone right across the border in Canada, or have you heard of a lot of international investors putting their money into rental homes right here in Michigan? What's interesting is most countries don't have an MLS or big listing portals, and what they have are classified services. And because of that, foreign buyers tend to search for homes like that. Because if you go on Craigslist, there's a Craigslist in every country. And what we're going to do is turn over every stone and showcase your property where everyone is. Last is social media. And these are all major marketplaces, and we market your home across all of these platforms with organic and paid ads. And do you think that this online strategy is something that would get your property in front of a lot of buyers? And if anyone said anything they would do anything else to market your home online that I forgot to mention, please, please, please bring it up. And traditional marketing is still important and something we do. And right now, roughly 20% of buyers found the home they actually purchased through things like yard signs, open houses, networking, and print advertisement. So the next thing that helps us stand out is our database. And do you feel like it would be to your benefit to work with an agent like myself, who has a database of hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of buyers interested in a home like yours? So our database contains thousands of active potential buyers looking for properties right now. And these buyers come from our past marketing efforts on other properties that we've sold in the area that may be interested or have a referral for your home. And the number one complaint agents get from sellers is the lack of communication, and that's a problem. So one of the things we do that helps us stand out from the competition is our transparency and communication. And we believe that's something that differentiates us from other agents. So you'll have complete access to know what we're doing to market your home, the feedback we're getting from buyers and agents, and what's going on with the competition. And whenever an agent shows your listing, we aggressively attempt to reach them so that we can provide you unfiltered feedback that helps determine what needs to be done to get the property sold. And from the day we list your property, we're going to send you market updates. And market updates are going to go out to you on a daily and weekly basis and send you everything active pending, and sold right around your property. So you're going to know as soon as I do with what's going on with our competition, and we can use that information to help make adjustments. So anytime a seller looks at hiring an agent, I believe the seller takes on a huge risk. Why? Because they don't really know what they're getting and can only go off of what the agent is saying. So I've designed a program to transfer the risk and accountability off of you as the seller and on to me to perform, which is the way it should be. So the first thing I have is a 1-day agreement. It's very simple. As long as things are moving the way we both want, we keep moving forward. But if there ever comes a time where you think I'm not holding up my end, you'll have the right to fire me. Now, does that seem fair? And the next thing is what I call the savvy seller agreement. And this gives you the right to bring a buyer to the table. You know, is it likely? Probably not. But if a friend, family member, or coworker wants to buy your house, I would act as a transaction coordinator and coordinate the contracts, the addendums, the disclosures, inspections, appraisal, title work, and the closing. And you'd only end up paying a 1% commission. And that leads me right into my flexible commission structure. We just discussed what happens if you bring a buyer, but there's 2 other ways that I'll generate the buyer. The first is through my own marketing efforts direct to buyers. My team finds a buyer who does not have their own agent. You'd only end up paying a 4% commission. And last, through marketing to other agents, I get them to bring one of their buyers. We'd pay 3% to that agent's company, and my company would get 3%. And I believe this structure takes all of the risk off of you as the seller and puts all the risk and accountability as your agent to perform. And we went through a lot of information. And does this seem like a plan that would get your property sold for the most amount of money? And I really, really appreciate you taking time to review my marketing plan of action. And I'm 100% confident this is the best marketing plan in the industry that does all of the right things to get buyers interested and pay you top dollar. I really look forward to meeting you and partnering together to get your home sold.